Hello there, everybody. DJNUMA here
not...
with two friends this time. Hi, guys.
How's it going, guys?
Hello.
That's Brett and Devin. And welcome back to the iRacing Grand Touring Cup Championship thing, multi-class in a Solstice, where we are leading Division 8, and it is week 8. Yeah. At Mosport.
7 car. It's the 13 car.
Honestly, one of my more
It's the 4
favorite
car.
tracks to run, just to really haven't gotten the hang of it.
Phoenix?
No, Mosport.
No, dear God, no, not Phoenix.
Mosport is fun, it's just that I have to work on it with some cars. The faster cars really don't like the altitude
turn.
changes. Yeah, that left-hand turn there, you have to be careful, otherwise you just go spinning off the track.
You can do that in a Solstice too, don't worry.
Yeah.
It's not just the fast cars.
I think the last race that I ran there was with the SCCA Spec Racer.
And yeah, I'm running currently in the Solstice. Yeah, that's the plural for solstices. And Devin's making dinner for those of you who are wondering what sounds like somebody dropping stuff into a toilet.
Yes, I'm cleaning dishes as we speak, so...
Oh my. So professional, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is the only chance I'm going to have it recording this week because the next race is not here anymore. And
Has
we've
it already...
got 25 minutes.
Has it already switched over yet for the week, or is that the last race at Mosport?
This is the last race at Mosport.
And then where does it switch over to?
No idea. Probably Interlagos. I don't know. You guys will know because it'll be next week's episode.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't mind Interlagos. Interlagos is actually pretty fun. It's just really challenging fast track.
I don't have Interlagos.
Interlagos is the Brazilian Grand Prix. For anybody who has ever played F1 games and is unfamiliar with track names, that is the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Oh, I hate that track.
It's like I said, a very challenging, quick, fast track.
I just want the Nürburgring already.
I think the Nürburgring
Green,
comes
green.
with the GP and the actual Green Hell. I know the Green Hell is one of them. I don't know if the Nürburgring GP comes with it.
Well, the combined track's the one they run on the 24.
I
believe.
No. The
on your right.
Nürburgring is
Clear on the right.
considerably a public quasi-test track at this point. I don't think a lot of races actually run the actual Nürburgring. They run the GP circuit, which is a completely different purpose-built racetrack.
Yep.
Just because
I just thought they included
Settle
the
down,
Nordschleife.
guys.
No, they don't. That's a completely different track, even though it's in the same area.
It's actually, it can connect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
They actually connect right at the start-finish for the Nordschleife.
Okay, so like the German GP in real life would actually run on a sliver of the actual.
All right, Mustang.
No, they have Hockenheim. I can't remember if
Clear on the
Hockenheim's
right.
in there or not, but Hockenheim was the other German GP track.
Hockenheim is
And
fun.
Hockenheim is fun, challenging,
So fast.
but fun.
It's so fast. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like the super speedway of Grand Prix tracks.
Now the granddaddy of all tracks, small fast tracks, is Italy and Monza.
That
Monza's-
track isn't small though.
I mean,
I mean,
but
relatively in comparison to like Shanghai's
or
circuit.
Spa.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Not Shanghai. Singapore.
Yeah, Singapore. Singapore's small. The one that would be an iRacing nightmare, and I'm pretty sure they will never do this. Monaco.
Oh God, that's a safety rating nightmare.
Good luck.
Just suspend all safety rating on the roadside for the week.
Do you know what track we're talking about there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
just suspend all safety rating for the week. That'd be like, you'd need to have like 50 incident points for that race.
Yep. For those who don't know
Hey, Mike, man,
about
that's
that
the
track,
third car
basically
you
picture
hit
your
in 2
typical
laps,
country
and I got a
2-lane
4X.
road with
The guy drove
Armico,
off the track.
steel guardrails on either side, and basically try racing cars at 120 or 140 miles an hour through them.
You know what they need to do? They need to put the old Glen circuit in.
The
The one that ran on the roads.
Oh yeah, the one that actually went on the public roads. Yeah.
Yup. They still have the rumble strips in place.
Yep. The closest we're ever gonna get is the full purpose-built Glen with the boot, which is it's very fun to drive. I had to do the prototype race. They had the prototypes, the 4 GTs. I think they had the Porsches. I think on there too. I think it was a precursor to all that blank plane endurance multi-class stuff that they did, and that was fun to do on the full Glen circuit with the bus stop.
They actually offer a track day, or they used to.
They still probably will. They'll probably do even more now that they got the new surface, because the next time they go to the Glen in real life, they're gonna have a nice, fresh, new, smooth Glen.
Let me tell you, if they don't run the boot, I'm going to be very, very sad.
I think they're lobbying NASCAR to sit there and run the boot, because they redid the boot. They redid the whole entire track, not just the NASCAR circuit portion of it.
Yeah, and the boot, the reason that they stopped running the boot in the late 90s, I think, was because the cars were grounded out because it was so deteriorated, right?
Yeah, they were having track issues with that section, and they had to kind of close it off. I can't remember if they actually, when they first brought NASCAR to the Glen, if they actually ran it.
I remember in the old NASCAR games you did run the boot.
Okay.
Like, I'm talking 1990 something.
Okay. Yeah, and I also remember the Indy version of Sonoma in NASCAR 98.
Yep.
Because the reason why I remember that is because you actually went through a valley.
Yep.
Or basically,
I think they actually ran it one year, right?
that was the only year that I remember running that version of the track, because the next year that Sonoma was on, it's in its present form, where it doesn't run through the actual mountainside.
Sadly.
Now, like I said, you can relive that glory by doing it here in iRacing, but that
I
would
think
be...
the Rolex series runs it.
Yep, a lot of series run it. I think a lot of it is also because there's a very slow section up by where the NASCAR carousel would be. Really, really slow section.
NASCAR should run that section. That would be hilarious.
You want to see wrecks and tempers flaring? There you go.
Yeah, just put Sonoma in as part of the chase.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea. Let's give a road course in the chase.
Well, imagine having at least once a year having somebody do what Brian Vickers or whoever did to Tony Stewart there at Sonoma and hit him so hard that he hung him up by the fence.
The one thing I remember about Sears Point, is it still called that?
It's called Sonoma, but they probably loosely still call it.
Infineon or Sears Point or whatever the hell it's called now.
They call it Sonoma / Infineon.
Okay. Showing my age there.
Car on your left.
I know all
We're
of
on
the
the
names. Yes. The one thing I remember is Robbie Gordon's wheel coming off. And he just passed pit road, or he was on there, and then this wheel just goes flying off to the side somewhere. It's just like, well, okay.
Or Mark Martin having such a huge wreck going up to the top of the S's that he got out basically holding his private areas because of the belt probably grabbing onto him through the wreck.
Yup.
That used to be a really bad area for wrecks in the early 90s, and I think a lot of it was just more because of the setups of the cars and the fact that back then they had next to no downforce.
It was all mechanical grip, and that's the way it should be.
They're getting back to it, thank God, next year to an extent. iRacing for those who want to get a actual update as to what we're going to be facing next year, as opposed to this season. NASCAR NBC Sports did a spot with Parker Klingerman, I think is the guy that he does all the spoofs, or not all the spoofs, but all the previews for each track through iRacing. And he did a comparison side by side at Darlington with what we currently have and what it's supposed to be like next season. And there's a huge difference just at Darlington. If you thought Darlington,
do we still have the old Cup model?
The old Cup model is faster than what we currently have.
I mean, like downforce wise. You're right. Because it feels like we do.
Still there?
We still
Just
have
less
the
power.
present.
Clear,
We
all
have the
clear.
present form of what they have right now in the Cup Series, but they actually released a unreleased version to the public, to Parker and the NBC Sports Studios, where they did the regular what we have and what we ran at Darlington, which was the modern downforce package, and then he actually got to run and show the difference in the low downforce package. So if you thought you had fun at Darlington before with the current package, just imagine having no grip when you come into the corner and you're letting off.
In general.
But in general, you're going to have that like that there and at Kentucky, where the tires are going to fall off. So you're going to have something tire-wise like Texas happen all over again, where after 20
Texas
laps
isn't too bad unless you're Joey Logano or Kevin Harvick.
Oh, did you run enough A-fixed races?
Oh, I understand already.
Oh, okay. The A-fixed was a living hell.
Oh yeah. You go 3 laps and then it's just like, oh, well.
Oh no! Try having to run the full field run on those tires.
Nope.
Once, I had to do that. Brett was watching that, and I think towards the end I was having a hard time even getting it through the front stretch. There was times where I would get out of 4. I would make the first left. I would go to float it through the tri-oval, and it would get through the first kink, and the car would snap loose. And then you would get to the second kink, and it would snap loose again, all before going into the corner, because there was no grip.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about how like it got so loose? It was to the point where I was barely moving the steering wheel no more than an inch throughout the whole process, because that car was so loose because the tires were so gone. So yeah, it's going to be a driver's car starting next season. The other thing with the A car, and I've shown this to you guys a few times, the gauges in the A cars are going away. So the classic needlepoint gauges you know of are going away completely.
So we're
and
getting
being
Paul
replaced.
Menards?
You're getting that Paul Menards picture.
Sweet.
You're getting one central display
Are we getting
unit.
a Speedo?
I don't know exactly how they're going to have it set up, because I saw Kurt Busch's that he ran at Darlington, and his version was a little different.
That was also an older version.
To an extent, but that was more of the Stuart Haas version, though, because there might be different versions of that same unit
So we'll
for
be
different
getting the
teams.
Roush one.
Who knows? I don't
For the
know.
Ford.
All I know is they're running a digital gauge. I don't know. I'm gonna assume iRacing is gonna do something along the lines of where they're going to give everybody the same gauge face, just to save time. But the position of it and how it's incremented into the dash probably will be team specific. So they're gonna, for Ford, they're either gonna go with Penske or they're gonna go with Roush, which more than likely they're gonna go with Roush, because for
Roush
those
has a
of you,
partnership with Ford.
well, iRacing is actually and partly owned by the Red Sox ownership group, so that is part of the reason
So it's
why.
iRacing Fenway.
Pretty much. So pretty much anything Ford is going to come through that pipeline. Chevy, I'm not exactly sure which team that comes through. Usually I think it's Hendrick.
Now the best question is, when are we getting the Challengers? Challengers?
Probably never, because iRacing has to have a deal with dodge in place to be able to use cars and likenesses on iRacing. There's a licensing deal. It's part of the reason why it took so long for iRacing to even get Ford into iRacing for the Cup cars, and Toyota to even to that extent. So who knows?
Toyota's
And
even
if-
more so now. We've got all of theirs. We still don't have the Ford F-150s.
The only team they could scan physically and be accurate to what they are would be Brad Keselowski's Ford team, because they are the
Got
only
one on your
team
right.
that runs
Three
Ford
wide,
trucks.
you're on the left. Got
I
one on
think
your
any
right.
Ford
Too
trucks
wide
that
there.
you see
All clear, all clear.
currently in
Got
NASCAR
one on your right.
are
You're on the
old
right.
Brad Keselowski, Brad Keselowski trucks. So who knows if and
Got
when
one
we
on
would
your
ever
left.
get the F-150.
All clear, all clear.
No, I'm excited. I think that
missed
also
shifts.
will. I think it will also go back to the days where the guy behind somebody had more of an advantage when getting ready to pass somebody, where you can actually get somebody arrow loose.
That already happens.
Yeah, but if you think that it's a weapon now, just wait till next season when the guy has advantage, because they were doing that at Darlington and at Kansas, where they could basically get somebody loose coming into a corner just by being behind them.
Now, are we going to have a lower downforce package for Daytona and Dega in real life?
Daytona and Talladega, I think, are probably going to... I mean, I'm sure they'll have some sort of modified version, maybe. I'm going to go short answer, no. It'll be just whatever the package currently is for Daytona and Talladega. I think that's staying the same. The biggest change is going to be on the regular, all the other tracks. You're going to have lower downforce, you're going to have much shorter spoilers. You're going to have the same spoiler that they basically ran at both Kansas and at Darlington. So you're going to have the really short spoilers. I'll be back in a second.
Okay. So how you doing, Brett? He muted us. So, I hope you guys have been enjoying this series and the epic conversation I've been having with Devin about NASCAR during a road race. Makes perfect sense, don't think about it. And I hope you guys are enjoying this series. It may not happen again next season simply because I might be running a 2-monitor setup and I don't know how that would render out. But yeah, I'll do a video at Daytona or something with a little trial run. See how it works. And we'll go from there. Do 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 do. Come on, turn. There you go. Good car. Apparently my best lap was a 142. Ever since then I've been a little slower. Alrighty. Come on, Todd. Pick your leg. Your leg. Your leg.
Got one
Yeah,
on
pick
your
your
right.
leg. There we go.
Clear on the right.
Do do do. And we got another Mustang coming. And then 2 Jettas. Probably gonna do an oval series next year simply because
Car on your
oh
right.
my god, dude.
Keep left. All clear, all clear.
Alright, looks like they're going
Got one on
outside.
your right. All clear, all clear. Car on your right. Still there? Hold your line.
Come on, you can pass.
All clear, all clear.
That's where I'm losing all my time. Apparently we don't need to go over that. Okay.
For at least a few minutes.
Welcome back.
To clarify,
Hello, water.
This is the infamous water faucet sound that I get crap for. But anyway, going back to the gauges for a second, I think the reason why, and I just remember this, the reason why Kurt Busch's and Paul Menard's look different is because it's actually the same unit. There's just different ways of viewing the information. So Kurt Busch's at Darlington, when they took the picture of it, his tachometer basically read like a Dallara IndyCar here on iRacing, where it is just simply a series of shift lights lined up left to right in different colors. Green meaning low, red meaning high into the power band, and that's how Kurt, I think, had it kind of set up. So that when he sees the RPM, that it's just basically a quick way of seeing, okay, I'm, speeding or whatever. Whereas Paul Menard had kind of a digital version of a needlepoint gauge on his. So I tend to believe that that's basically what we're going to get to, is we're going to get our options of being able, how we want to view the information. Now, things like water temp, oil temp, RPMs and stuff are going to be, I think, are at each corner of that gauge, kind of lined up around the RPM. However, that's displayed at your choosing.
Interesting.
So, like I said, to go for NASCAR to kind of get with the modern times, and also actually,
Modern
I tend to
times, are they all digital now?
most of the cars nowadays are usually digital. There are a few cars that they make on the market that don't actually have a needlepoint gauge, that the supposed needle and all that stuff is all digital. So that's, I think, what they're doing. I just think they're following along the trends. Most of the race cars nowadays don't have that huge amount of clusters. They all have it in one central unit.
Fair enough.
Kind of like your Indy car, how it always has it on the steering wheel. F1 cars have their information on the steering wheel, or some teams will actually have it on the monocoque or the cockpit itself through a little box. Just depends on how they have it set up or how they have it viewed. So NASCAR really is one of the last few series where they sit there and have the old style big bulky gauges either sitting mounted on the dash or above the dash. So they're just kind of modernizing it, and honestly it'll make it a little bit easier to actually read, because now it'll be in numerical form as opposed to having to read your gauges. Because they'll actually
Got
blink,
one on your left.
When,
clear,
for example,
all
your
clear.
oil pressure is high or whatever, or oil temp's high, it'll actually blink the numbers at you. Probably be able to get your attention a little bit easier than the small, dinky little gauge that you currently have.
Well, I mean, we've all seen my setup, so
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
setup's pretty easy to view.
Yeah, I can see all my gauges on my setup fairly easy. In iRacing, the easiest car to read all the gauges on are the Toyotas, but that's just
Fords?
because, well, Fords are the worst.
No,
From what
not.
Toyotas, I say, are the easiest because they're all in one little bubble. Where that center hump is for the steering wheel piece, kind of like in all Joe Gibbs racing cars, which is how the Toyotas are modeled after. So, to get
Should
a good
only have 2
idea.
laps left.
Hey
Thomas Miller. I think that Thomas.
So that's just a
Turn. Thank you, car.
So that's just a few of the things to look forward to next season now as to when iRacing gets these updates. I wouldn't expect them till after Daytona.
Damn.
Because that's usually when they would do stuff like this. I think they're going to wait a little bit because I think they want to get as much data as they can from the actual teams during preseason testing and all that stuff to
They don't do
get a
that
feel.
anymore, though.
Well, they still will get the Goodyear tire tests and all that stuff at the beginning of the season. Goodyear will do some sort of testing with the teams to get understanding of the downforce package. Or a NASCAR one, and I'm assuming what they'll do is iRacing will work with its information partners through Penske and Hendrick and the likes to get information on the cars, and then they'll come up with a general handling model for the car that we will see as the update. Now, like I said, they've already kind of put that in place. They already kind of have a general understanding, judging by the video that they did for NBC Sports. So it should be fairly quick as to when we get it.
Now, when are they going to implement green, white checkers? That's my question.
I don't think iRacing will do that. The biggest issue with that is that anything that like that, iRacing would have to completely rewrite their code. So if you think that iRacing already has issues with things such as people passing the pace car or getting a passing under caution thing that happen either with unintentionally and stuff that in real life would not, they wouldn't even look at. Just imagine the type of hell that would be caused when, say, for example, you get to 2 to go, get to 1 to go, and a caution comes out.
Well, actually, that's a simple bit of code. Coming from a coding perspective, they just need a lap counter, which they have implemented already. Now, if said lap counter were to expire and yellow flag is thrown, this is just pseudocode, by the way, and yellow flag is currently in the air,
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that hard to extend the race.
Yep. Like I said, I just know from what I've read on
Car on
the
your
forums
left.
anyway, and I don't know all
Clear
the
on the left.
details. So I'm sure everybody would like to, but at the same time, honestly, I'm perfectly
Car on
fine
your right.
with being
Clear
under
on
the
the
old
right.
school style of, if the caution flew with 2 to go, that meant the race was over.
I say let us race to the line.
Yeah.
If you're not going to implement the green, white checker, at least let the race go.
Yeah, you say that now until basically you're in one of those rooms at Darlington and that happens.
And you're the one wrecked out for the win.
Or you're the one that basically goes in the first corner and meets the wreck.
There's the flag, man.
I'll be back on later on.
We'll
So
get it next
I'll
time.
talk to you guys later.
Yep.
So,
Perfect
bye.
timing, too.
Yep. Yep.
All
See ya.
right, guys. And that's the end of the race. Sadly, not really that much to view this time. But, yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you guys didn't get too bored of our NASCAR speak. So, yeah. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all next week. Toodaloo.